Hello.
Good evening,
To
sir.
start. Oh, okay. Good evening, you. Good evening to all of you. So you see, welcome to MEG-5 Literary Criticism and Theory, Block 5. Topic: Marxist view of literature. Yes or no? Marxist view of literature. So, uh, as usual, so to follow up the same also today. Uh, so it's very difficult topic, and also it has some small units. So at first we have to have a clear cut idea about the Marxist, okay, uh, everything. That there are some short points consisting of 2 to 3 lines. Then after we will pass on to discuss some important questions. That's long questions. Okay. So uh, in today's discussion, we are coming across what is Marxian literature, society and history, Marxist view of literature, and superstructure representing the critic society, super commitment in literature, all the things that we are getting. Sure, autonomy in literature, okay, all the things. So at first we have to know some important point. That's called sub points. Sub points of the present discussion, Marxist view of literature, because these discussions are very important also for you to know. Sure. Now you have to start. What does Marxist criticism mean in literature? What does what does Marxist criticism mean in literature? Listen. So see, classes are going on now. If feel some problems in power cut, okay, or supply of the or interruption of the power, that is electricity. So we may not continue. Okay, from that it has to be stopped. The class is to be stopped. So now everything is possible, and I feel comfortable because, as you know, today that dismal weather is coming and passing. So because of that, so now comfortable and able. That's I taking. If after some time, if I feel uncomfortable, and situation is okay, so then we have to stop depending on the condition of the weather. So what does Marxist criticism mean in literature? The Marxist criticism definition is an approach to diagnosing political and social problems, political and social problems in terms of the struggles between members of different socio-economic classes. Again, speaking, repeating, the Marxist criticism definition is an approach is an approach to diagnosing political and the social problems in terms of the struggles between members of different socio-economic classes. It is mainly concerned with it is mainly concerned with the battle between the working class and the ownership class. Understand? This is the gist of Marxist, the essence. It is mainly concerned with the battle between. It is mainly between. It is mainly concerned with the battle between the working class and the ownership class, and favors communism and socialism over capitalism. That's the gist or essence of Marxist. If anyone is asking you, so what do you mean by Marxism? We have to answer in these lines. Okay, so it's no doubt a struggle between. It's no doubt a struggle between That's members of different socio-economic classes. It's mainly concerned with the battle between the working class and the ownership class and favors communism. Means it is in support of communism and socialism over capitalism. Over capitalism. So, who is the founder of Marxist view of literature or Marxist criticism? Who is the founder? Who is the founder? So, am I audible? Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, who is the founder of Marxist criticism? Marxism is a philosophy developed. So now you knew that what does Marxism mean, or what is the meaning of Marxist view of literature? Okay, what does TM in 2 to 3 lines? So now the founding father or father of Marxist criticism. Marxism is a philosophy developed by Karl Marx. Karl Marx. Uh, Karl Marx in the second half of the 19th century that unifies social, political, and economic uh, theory. Economic theory. So it is brought by Karl Marx or developed by Karl Marx or proposed by Karl Marx in the second half of the 19th century that unifies uh, or brings social, political, and economic theory. Karl Marx, that you know, born in 1818 and died past 1883, the great philosopher, historian, political economist, and father of Marxism, was born on May 5th, 1808. Okay, so that the time span 1818 that was born and died 1883. The great philosopher, historian, political economist, and father of Marxism. Okay, means the founder. What is the concept of Marxism? Okay, what is the concept? So these are the small that sub points. Okay, that will add something to the main points. If you know all this, so it will help you and uh, I'll give you many things about knowing the main points or the prime points. So, what is the concept of Marxism? Marxism is a social, economic, and political philosophy. It's a social, uh, as earlier I told, struggle between members of different socio-economic classes. It is a struggle between members of different socio-economic classes. So, it is a social, economic, and political philosophy that analyzes leading to uneven distribution. Understand the main point. Uneven distribution means not distributed equally. Unequal distribution of wealth and privileges in the society. So it stimulates the workers to protest the injustice, the capitalism. Investment in the capitalism, it stimulates, encourages the workers to protest against the injustice. So, who is called a Marxist? Okay, who can be called a Marxist, or who is called a Marxist? A Marxist is someone who strongly agrees with the political, economic, and philosophical ideas of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. You know, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, these two personalities did a lot for Marxism, or tried their best for uh, bringing Marxist view of literature. So that is a Marxist is someone who strongly agrees with the political, economic, and philosophical ideas of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. If you're Marxist, you are especially critical of capitalism. So They strongly uh, raise their voice against capitalism and go in favor of establishing, that is, socialism and communism. So then what are the features of Marxism? What are the features? So one by one, just I am providing everything. These are the important lines for all of you to know. Okay, because all these lines are coming in some that long questions. Long questions. We are getting all these. So these are the branches of the long questions. What are the features of Marxism? A Marxist socialist society has several core elements. Several core elements. Political power held by the working classes. Okay. Features. A Marxist socialist society has several core elements, important elements. First is political power held by the working classes, public ownership and democratic management of society's material means of production, national planning, a substantial degree of economic equality among the people, a high level of productive forces, and a continu- productive forces. So political power held by the working classes, because it is already possessed by the capitalist. So how this should be driven out, and that power should be entrusted to that working classes. Then public ownership. It's not owned by a particular man. Okay, it's not feel of monotony that uh, so public ownership, not by particular man. Okay, and democratic management of society's material means of production, national planning, a substantial degree of economic equality. There should be economic equality among the people, a high level of productivity. So these are the features that we are getting that coming across in Marxism or Marxist view of literature. These are the good features or good signs of Marxism. We feel the presence of all these expressions in Marxist view of literature. Then what are the elements of Marxism in literature? As explained above, class operation, because between the working class and the ownership class, working class and the ownership class means though who declare themselves as the owners or the proprietors or the entrepreneurs, so they just enjoy all the powers. They reign the supreme, REIGN, they reign the supreme. They feel as if we are all in all. So, so as explained above, class operation, power, class operation, as you know, power, economy, and politics are some of the main elements that should be considered in Marxist literary criticism. So, Marxist gives emphasis or tries its best to eliminate all these inequalities that is felt and experienced in society. So, what is felt and experienced in society? That class operation, higher class, lower class, haves and have-nots. Okay, uh, power. Some people possess a lot of wealth and power, so they try to oppress or suppress, exploit others. because of their power, showing their power. So that should be also taken into consideration. Then economy, okay, uh, degree of economic equality, and politics are some of the main elements that should be considered in a Marxist literary criticism. Okay, so um, that what are the five stages of society according to Karl Marx? This is the point. What are the five stages of society according to? So now you knew a lot about that Marxist view of literature, the features, the father of Marxism, and what we come across or witness in that Marxist view of literature, and what are the main everything in short, because this will add to know more about the long questions. So now, uh, what are the five stages of society according to Karl Marx? The main modes of production that Marx identified include primitive communism, slave society, feudalism, capitalism, and communism. In each of these stages of production, people interact with nature and production in different ways. Any surplus from that production was disturbed differently. So many things are there. Um, so, what are the two main classes in society according to Karl Marx? What are the two main classes in society according to Karl Marx? The class conflict definitions, as earlier I told many times, the class conflict definitions between high and low. Then is the struggle over the means to control society, powerless and powerful. Okay, the struggle. Those are powerful, they just behave others, I mean the powerless in a different way. Okay, so that should be the main concern of the Marxist. Sure, that is the struggle over the struggle over uh, the means to control society. Two classes in particular are important for understanding Marx theory. Okay, two classes. Understand this. Listen to it's important. Two. So, what are these two classes? So, Marx that defines Marxist view of literature into two classes. So, one is proletariat. Proletariat. One is proletariat, and the bourgeois, that plural, bourgeois. Okay, so two classes, proletariat and bourgeois. So this that's proletariat means working class people. The workers, or the proletariat means working class people or the workers. Okay, means Marx that divides the society into two types. Now dealing with two main classes in society according to Karl Marx. So what are these two main classes in society? One is that the class conflict definition. Then is the struggle over the uh, means to control society. Two classes in particular are important for understanding. So, what are these two classes? by Marx. The proletariat. Proletariat means the workers or the working class people. Working class people regarded collectively. Okay, with reference to Marxism, the growth of the industrial proletariat. Okay, working class people. Then second category is bourgeois. Bourgeois. B-O-U-R. That is the pronunciation in this as per the dictionary pronunciation. Bourgeoisie. Okay, so bourgeois. Um that's bourgeois means the middle class, typically with reference to its perceived materialistic values or conventional attitudes. Bourgeois means the middle class people. Proletariat means the working class people, the workers. Okay, so there arose a dissension or disparity between the proletariat and bourgeois. So the Marxists tried their best to eliminate that by giving or showing some other new techniques. Okay, that is proletariat and bourgeois. Okay, so these are the two main classes that we find in Marxism view or by Marx. So, what is the importance of Marxism in society? So, with this we will that's come to an end. Then we will pass on to the next. So, what is the importance of Marxism? What is the importance of Marxism in society? So, it propagates. It here it stands for the Marxism. Marxism. That so it propagates the establishment of classless society. It propagates means spreads the establishment of classless. There should be no class. That upper and lower, higher and lower. Okay, haves and have-nots. So we should not feel that this type of classes. So it propagates means that Marxism, the establishment of a classless society, the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned by the community as a whole, as against private ownership. Understand? You get me? So these are the basic principles of Marxism society. They propagate means spread establishment of classless society, the means of production. Also, they are in favor of the means of production, distribution that should be equally done equally with proper justice. The means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned by the community as a whole, as against by private ownership. It should not be owned by a particular man or rich man. Rather, it should be distributed by one and all. All should enjoy the power and prestige, wealth and power. Okay. Sure, not by private ownership. Maxim, Maxim examines the struggle of a capitalist and the worker class. Okay. The topmost priority is to give in Maxim is that they try to just finalize the dissensions that are going on between or the struggle that going on between capitalist and the worker class means that proletariat and bourgeois. Proletariat and bourgeois. Proletariat means the working class and bourgeois means the middle class. That's the main concern of Marxist. view of literature. That's all about where the short no, that no, sub points. So needless to discuss a lot about all this. So now pass on to the next. That's many points are there. Then now, sure, pass on to current is now available. So we are taking otherwise if we fail. So failure of current means so now maxim is a, that maxim is a metaphysical philosophy which try to interpret the world based which try to interpret the world based on the concrete natural world around us and the society we live in. It is opposed to idealist philosophy. Good. Marx, Marxism is opposed to idealist philosophy, which conceptualizes a spiritual world elsewhere that influences and controls the material world. Okay, so it tries to establish a spiritual world, means that all should feel everything good, even, not uneven. Everything must be done with proper justice, proper justice, proper settlement, proper distribution, not uneven. Nothing should be done uneven means unequal in every sphere of activity. Understand? So they try to that it conceptualizes a spiritual world elsewhere that influences and controls the material world. It tries to abolish the materialistic attitude of the Habs. So Karl Marx himself has commented on this revolutionary nature of Marxism. This revolutionary nature of Marxism. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in a various ways. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in a various ways. The point is to change it. It is true that while other philosophers tried to understand the world, Marxism tried to change it. You get me? When other philosophers tried to understand the world, tried to understand the world, never thought of any change. But in that case, Marxism, the persons believing in Marxism or supporter of Marxism tried to change it. This is the difference. Brought something new. So classical Marxism, basic. Then we are coming to classical Marxism. Basic principles of classical. Thus, also it's coming under. Now you may just come across a question in a ensuing examination. Define what is classical Marxism. As discussions about Marx's theory of literature, view of literature, so this is a part and parcel of that discussion. That is what is classical Marxism. Basic principles of classical Marxism. So time to time, weather is becoming dismal. That's from bad to worse, not worse to worst. If impossible, then we may stop taking classes. So now everything is convenient. That's why we are taking or meeting. If not, I feel, then to stop. So now you see classical Marxism, that is basic principles. Marxism is a political, as earlier everything has been discussed. Okay, we have known a lot about the features, elements, the father of Marxism, and everything, the short questions, the short lines, sub points. So it's also a short question, carrying 10 mark. Classical Marxism. basic principles, basic principles of classical Marxism. Marxism is a political and social movement as well as a critique. Critique means a detailed analysis and assessment of something. CRITIQE, a critique uh, of a capitalism. Okay, so it's a political and a social movement as well as a detailed analysis of capitalism. Capitalism. Those who enjoy a lot of power and prestige, everything is owned by them, possessed by them. So it presents an analysis of a society. As earlier I told many things, it aims at establishing a classless society, powerless society, not to be enjoyed by the bourgeois, rather the proletariat. Proletariat means the working class people, bourgeois mean the middle class people. Okay, so the aims and objectives of the bourgeois should be destroyed, eliminated, and in its place, proletariat, their aims should be given importance. Okay, so that is social movement. Marxism is a political and social movement, as well as a detailed analysis of capitalism. It presents an analysis of society in detail, its problems and a solution. Means it presents an analysis of society, its problems and solution. Not only it analyzes, examines, but also provides solutions. Solutions, unless until you give solution, provide solution or think of solution. So at the question of analyzing. Okay, so analyze. That's okay. You take it, accept it, do it, but at first just give solution. Give solution. So also they do that. That the Marxists analyze presents an analysis of society, its problems, understand their problems, and also at last provides the solution. Its works were written by German philosophers Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. It segments the Marxist works, the Marxism, everything what we are getting here in Marxism. So everything has been given by these two philosophers, two important philosophers, and who are they? Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Friedrich Engels. These two have shared their views. That they have shared their views and uh, given it a new shape in that is the Maxim view of literature in form of writing, that Maxim view of literature. So its works were written by German philosophers Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Let us understand how do Karl Marx and Engels interpret literature. So now we're coming now to discuss literature, because also here we come across commitment in literature, or that's autonomy in literature, literature and ideology. Okay, all these things that we're coming across in this block, that is block 5. Okay, so if we just go on discussing only on Marxist important types, father, founding father, and everything, so no, also to touch all these other points. Uh, so let us understand how do Marx and Engels, means Friedrich Engels, interpret literature. Marx ideas, Engels, on the other hand, contributed ideas and popularized Marxism. Okay, there are two. joint collaboration, okay, uh, are extended the hands for bringing some new ideas and statements for Marxism. So they both tried and also interpreted literature. Marx's major contribution was to the development of his ideas. Understand? Marx's major contribution was to the development of its ideas. Engels, on the other hand, contributed ideas and popularized Marxism. Marx and Engels announced a system in Communist Manifesto. Communist Manifesto. Communist Manifesto means a pamphlet by Karl Marx and Engels. A Communist Manifesto means a pamphlet. It's a production. It's a production. Uh, that they wrote it in 1848. A pamphlet or a production or a small writing by Marx and Engels. Both gave their opinion in that writing or in that pamphlet uh, in 1848. Uh, both means Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. That's Communist Manifesto. First statement of the principle of modern communism or Marxist principles, fundamental Marxist principles. Manifesto means a public declaration. As earlier I told, manifesto means a public declaration of a policy or aims. Manifesto means a public declaration of policy or aims, especially one issued before an election by political party or candidate. That is called manifesto. Okay. So Communist Manifesto is a pamphlet by Marx and Engels. Okay. So they have given many statements in that pamphlet or in that writing. Okay. So Engels announced a system in communist means they perhaps wrote something new in that system, in that pamphlet. That is called Communist Manifesto. As communism based on their ideas, they told, they wrote communism based on their ideas. They opposed, they opposed the domination of one class. Domination means knowingly to oppress someone knowingly, showing your power and prestige. Okay, so they oppose the domination of one class over another and imagine a classless society. They came to know that if that system will continue, so the entire society is going to be uprooted, destroyed. Okay, so they tried, they thought, tried, and also defined a solution, gave a solution for that. Okay, so uh, that is they proposed the domination. Sorry, they opposed uh, a domination of one class over another class, because bourgeois mean middle class. Perhaps they are trying to oppress or suppress or exploit the working class, that is the proletariat. So um, the Marxists opposed the domination of one class over another and imagined a classless society. As earlier I told at the very beginning, at the very outset, also I have given you many hints about just explaining some that sub points, and also told all these lines will add you whenever we are going to know witness the long points. Okay, so that classless society, imagined a classless society. Who? The Marxist. The Marxist theory originated in the mid 19th century and Its development and systematization became possible in 1920, mid 19th and 1920. Uh, from the October from the October revolution of 1917. In the consequence of the revolution, its aftermath of the revolution, the socialist the socialist realism emerged as a literary tradition which focuses on the struggle of the socio-economic condition of the working class in relation to the suppressive power structure. Marxism analyzes society in terms of class struggle between the oppressed and the oppressor. Oppressed, those who are being oppressed. Oppressed means those who start oppression, those who do oppression, those who exploit, and those are being exploited. Okay, uh, they are called oppress, and oppression means that exploiter. So Maxim analyzes society in terms of class struggle between the oppressed and the oppressor. So oppressor means that the haves, and oppressed means the have have nots. Okay. Uh, the history of the history of the either two means that until now or until the point in time under discussion. Either two means until now or until the point in time under discussion. Either two. So that is the history of all hitherto existing society, the history of class struggles. Marx Communist Manifesto. Communist Manifesto means a pamphlet. Communist Manifesto and a pamphlet both. So both share their views. Means Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, and that published that pamphlet called Communist Manifesto. Wrote many changes in that writing. So that is Marx Communist Manifesto explains the historical background that led to the development of modern capitalist society, where in the bourgeois means ruling class, bourgeois means ruling class or middle class, exploits the proletariat means working class. Understand? So everything has been very mildly written that produced in there that the pamphlet Communist Manifesto. Everything has been finalized. How the proletariat were being exploited by the bourgeois, means working class were being oppressed or suppressed by the ruling class. Okay, so Marx gives the solution to social problems because they thought, analyzed, and also at last gave solution as you knew form. Okay, so Marx means followers of the Marxist view of literature. Marx gives the solution, means Karl Marx gives the solution to society, sorry, solution to the social problems, gives the solution to the social problems as a classless society whose development is theoretically based on the development of each individual. Marxism aims at achieving this goal through the revolutionary process. through the annihilation of the capitalist systems. You get me? Means annihilation means that obliterating or uprooting or destroying the capitalist system. That is, again, just repeating, Marxism aims at achieving this goal through the revolutionary process, not an ordinary process. So they made a revolution. A revolution went on or started for a long time. After that, they got. Okay, that's it. So, through the revolutionary process, through the annihilation, means destruction, uprooting of the capitalist system. Okay, totally just killed all these systems uh, that done by the capitalist. So the Marxist just tried to annihilate of all these capitalist systems. Marxist literary criticism holds the view that Marxist literary criticism holds the view that a writer's work is shaped by social institutions and prevailing discourses of his time. Marxist literary criticism holds the view that a writer's work is shaped by social institutions and prevailing discourses of his time. He doesn't regard writers as autonomous. Autonomous. Autonomous means that the writer condition of self-government or freedom, self-determination. Autonomous means self-determination or liberty. So that is, it doesn't regard writers as autonomous individuals. Marxist approach interprets a work of art by putting it into its historical content and analyzes conflicts of historical forces and social classes. Then society and history of Marxist view. Society also is a main point coming under this discussion. Society and Marxist and history of Marxist view. Society and history of Marxist view. So society and history of Marxist view. The Marxist view of history is that history is governed by universal laws, and that according to these laws, a society moves through a series of stages, with the transition between stages being driven by class struggle. Marx's view of history in an abstraction from the universal experience. So far as it was known to him, coming after the first modern scientific explorations of the past and its synthesis by modern philosophers, notably he get Marx abstraction. Notably, Marx abstraction is very strongly based on the factual information and forms a very well integrated framework for studying all history. In the first place, in the first place, Marx regards the striving for the fulfillment of man's material wants as the basic aspect of the functioning of human social formalities, social formations. These wants are not met by production, which can only take place when men and women live in societies. The mode of production of material life, says Marx, conditions the general process of social, political, and intellectual life. Later in his life, Marx came to recognize the existence of the prehistory of man. Prehistory of man means now discussing society and history of Marxist view. Okay, uh, means Max went on studying. Max started studying all these presentations. Okay, step by step, one by one, and presented it in form of it. That is Communist Manifesto or pamphlet. So that is the prehistory. Marx came to recognize the existence of the pre-writing of man, sorry, prehistory of man, when he did not produce but gathered food through hunting. Hunting, that is called prehistory of man. So nowadays we just we are getting everything without working hard. Everything is available with us. Everything, even if meal is ready in half an hour. Everything, different types of dishes also are solved within 1 hour. Was so advancing, so advanced, so advanced. So in those days, in prehistory of man, because Marx also recognized the existence of the prehistory of man, the time where we are not that the people were not getting all these modern amenities now, they are availing of. Everything is possible at everybody's hand. Okay, so in those period, those times, nothing was available or nothing was possible. You are not getting everything in a very known time. What you are getting now. Now reaching America also in half an hour, sorry, 2 hours. Okay, so that's from the starting point in Bhubaneswar. So if you left Bhubaneswar and reach there after 2 or 3 hours, so everything you are getting without doing any hard work. But in those times, people are working hard and getting. But nowadays, everything is possible in no time. So that is the prehistory of man when he didn't produce but gathered food through hunting. They're going to forest and shooting the okay uh, animals or sort the animals, fishing, collecting, fishing, throwing nets into the rivers, collecting fish. But nowadays it is available at your okay. Some people are coming and selling fish, knocking your door, door to door, door to door. You are getting everything. Okay, so that is they're producing what gathered food through hunting, fishing, uh, and collecting fruit from forest. Human beings then lived in primitive, classless communities. Okay, in those periods, they were leading a very classless communities, primitive communities. But as soon as agriculture developed, man began to produce a surplus or an amount of produce beyond what was needed for the bare subsistence living of the producer. Okay, so that's called the prehistory. So Max here studied the prehistory of man, what man is getting now, and what in traditional periods he or she was getting. How doing hard labor, hard work, and gaining everything. But nowadays, without doing any hard work, easily getting everything. That is the difference. So whenever that agriculture developed, man began to produce everything. Means a surplus or an amount of produce beyond what was needed for the bare subsistence of the production. Similarly, human actions take place under the impulse of an irrational consciousness. Sure, we can cite the Indian caste, syst- caste systems as an example. It was built up under it was built under continuous religious sanctions. The divisions into castes being denounced by Marx himself as these decisive impediments to Indian progress and Indian power. Thus, the religious world being really the reflect of the real world. Marx may affect deeply the complexion of the real world. So now, uh, another important point, main point, that is the superstructure. Superstructure. What is superstructure? Then now you have to know uh, what is superstructure. You just take in coming 2 to 3 after 2 to 3 minutes uh, till that was underway. 2 to 3 minutes just taking, then after again coming. Okay, Alaushi, now for the weather condition is becoming from bad to worse or worse to worst. At the very outset, it was bad to worse, now worse to worst. So unable to take the class because light went out. Understand? Hello? So there is no current now. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So let the class be suspended, and again, if time permits, then taking another 1 hour, we may just conclude the rest. So with this, I am concluding today's class because of the bad weather. Okay, no light is now. So how can I take the class? And also heavy winds starts blowing now. Okay, because of heavy rain also falling. So taking all the things into consideration, unable to take because weather is becoming worse to worst, means violent. Okay, so
Could
let the
you
class
please
stop today.
provide
And okay, okay.
the
Tomorrow means so at the end of the entire schedule, at the end of the 8 blocks, if they provide me some more 1 hour more, then we will conclude the rest. Only 1 hour, 1 hour, not 2 hours. So taking 1 hour, so we can conclude the rest. What's are left today? Okay. So till that, goodbye. So again to meet tomorrow. This time with the new block, that is block 6. Thank you all.
Thank
the
you, sir.
please provide the reading material
Thank you,
he
sir.
has left?